My beloved child, before you go any deeper into the words I am about to speak, let me place a very gentle breath upon your soul, a breath that makes you pause, slow down, and recognize that this moment is unlike any moment you have ever stood in your life. Because right now, I am pulling you out of the layers of noise and placing you into a very quiet space where only you and I remain. You do not need to be strong. You do not need to pretend you are fine. You do not need to strain yourself to believe harder. You only need to be here and allow me to touch the places you have avoided for many years. This is the moment I open a new door for your soul, a door that leads you into a true restoration process, where your identity is returned to you and the eternal purpose I placed within you is awakened. I am calling your name, not with thunder, but with a low and near voice, like a father sitting right beside you, close to your soul, touching the part of you you have never dared to show anyone. My child, through many seasons, I have seen the silent marks you never named. They did not scream. They did not make you collapse in front of others, but they slowly drained the warmth out of your mind day by day. They were the moments when you forced a smile so no one would worry. They were the nights you turned restlessly because something felt too heavy and you did not know where to lay it down. They were the mornings when your eyes opened, but your heart remained tiredly quiet, even though your body had rested enough. I have seen all of it. I do not blame. I do not criticize. I do not shake my head. I only lean down close, look deeply into the trembling place within you, and say one sentence only. I can say to you, I know, not knowing through stories, but knowing through every trembling rhythm of your soul. I know because I was there in the moments you thought you were completely alone. I know because I never left you, not even one step. And, my child, it is that knowing that leads me to awaken you from the deceptive whispers that have imprisoned your soul for so long you assumed they were normal. There are whispers that come as lightly as dust, yet cling as deeply as roots. Like the words, "You're not good enough." Like the feeling, "No one truly understands you." Like the thought, "If you fall apart, no one will lift you up." Or the belief, "Being alone is safer." These whispers do not arrive in noise. They come in the moments when you are weakest, most tired, most vulnerable. They disguise themselves as truth, but in reality, they are cords tightening around your soul a little more each day. I do not blame you for believing them. You were never taught how to distinguish my voice from the voice of the shadows. No one ever showed you the difference between truth and deceit. But today, I come to untie every binding word, not with force that frightens you, but with authority that causes the invisible chains to fall off on their own. Because you were not born to live under the shadow of bondage. You were born to live in truth and in the light I placed in you from the moment you were formed in your mother's womb. Do not think that I only want you to become a little better. No, my child, I want you to be truly restored. I do not patch a soul, I remake it from the root. I do not soothe temporarily, I free completely. I do not lift you by pressure, I lift you by presence so deeply that you can breathe again. Do you know why I do this? Because the purpose I placed in you is too precious to be buried under silent scars. Because your true identity is too radiant to be suffocated by whispers that are not true. Because your soul is too valuable to live like it is merely surviving. I see what you have been afraid to see, that you were created to live strong, to live clear, to live in the rhythm of heaven that I placed in you. But to enter that rhythm, you must first be healed, disentangled, restored, and that is precisely why I am drawing you into this process. My child, the restoration process I am bringing you into is not as frightening as you imagine. It is not a place where you must painfully dig through your past. It is a place where I walk with you to touch the points no one has dared to touch for a long time. It is a place where you no longer have to hold everything together. It is a place where you breathe deeper, lighter, truer. I do not ask you to be strong before you are ready. I do not ask you to heal yourself. I only ask you to open a small space for me to step in. The rest is mine. I will gently lift every layer that has weighed on your soul. I will restore warmth to the places that have been cold for far too long. I will place new breath into the parts that were once so dry you believed they could never revive. And I do all of this not out of obligation, but out of a father's love for his child, a love that does not judge, does not force, only waits patiently, faithfully, close enough for you to feel my breath near your ear. Do you know where you are in your journey? You are standing in the exact moment of transition where you no longer belong to your old past, but you have not yet fully entered the new season. This is the in-between place, where the soul feels both light and heavy, hopeful yet unsteady, eager to move forward yet afraid of losing balance. I know that feeling. I know because I see every hesitation in you. But my child, this very transitional space is where I stand the closest. This is where I place my hand on your back and whisper, "You are not walking alone." This is where I help you see what your natural eyes cannot see, that what you think is slow is actually being divinely arranged, that what you think is silence is actually being built beneath the surface, that what you think is meaningless is actually the foundation for the restoration, transformation, returning to identity and purpose process I have ordained for your life. My beloved child, I want you to understand this with absolute clarity. I do not heal partially. I am leading you into complete restoration. Not only the mind, not only the emotions, not only the behaviors, but your whole being, body, soul, and spirit being brought back into the rightful place of life. You have lived far too long in a state of almost fine. But almost fine is not what I intended for you. I intended for you a freedom unbound. I intended for you a peace that does not shake. I intended for you a clarity that is not distorted by deception. I intended for you a life wrapped in purpose, where every step, every choice, and every breath carries the imprint of your Father. And now, I want you to breathe slowly and listen carefully to this. You are not broken. You are not wrong. You are not lacking value. You are simply carrying impressions that no one has ever truly seen beneath. But I see every layer, and I do not come to remind you of weakness. I come to call you out of it. I come to place my truth in every place that has been deceived. I come to bring light into every corner you have been afraid to face. I come to restore you to your true identity, one written by my own hand. One no one can erase. That identity has never been lost. It has only been covered for a while by the seasons you have endured. But today, I am bringing it back to the surface clearer, brighter, stronger. My child, these are only the first steps of the restoration I am unfolding. And in what comes next, I will lead you deeper into the truth of who you are, the truth I placed within you from the beginning, the truth you are finally ready to receive. Now sit upright in your spirit, because from here, my words will move into a deeper place, not only the gentleness of healing, but the powerful call of a father with authority, awakening you from what has bound you for far too long. I do not come to frighten you, I come to awaken you. Not an awakening rooted in fear, but in clarity, not to make you shrink back, but to make you stand tall in the strength I placed in you before the world even knew of your existence. Listen to me closely. The deceptive whispers that have imprisoned your soul have never been truth. They only survived because you were too kind to them. You have grown so used to hearing them like the soft movement of wind that you forgot they were not my voice. But today I speak clearly, firmly, decisively. Enough. You are not permitted to let those lies shape you any longer. because you were never born to live beneath words that diminish your soul. You do not realize this, but every time you believed a false whisper, another thin veil settled over your vision. Not a veil of obvious darkness, but a subtle one that made you see yourself smaller, your goals lower, your future narrower. Words like, "You will always be like this," "You cannot change," "You are unworthy," "You are losing," "You are being left behind," none of these come from me. I have never spoken that way. I have never written smallness into your destiny, and I have certainly never used fear to steer your soul. Those words are not reality, they are strategy. A strategy of darkness designed to make you doubt what I placed within you. You thought they were passing thoughts, but they were small needles, piercing your perception little by little until your soul grew tired and you assumed that was the real you. But no, my child, that is not you. And today, with the authority of a father, I remove every needle from your soul. Listen to me. I am not only opening a process of restoration for you, I am breaking the process of bondage the darkness has woven around you for years. There are things you thought were just habits, but they are chains. There are things you thought were just my personality, but they are residue from what you endured for too long. There are empty spaces inside you that you thought were just how I am, but they are the result of believing words that never came from me. I do not tell you this to make you feel guilty. I tell you this to make you awake. Awake to see where you have been bound. Awake to see where you must rise. Awake to understand this. You are not as weak as you think. You have only lost sight of yourself. I have come to give that sight back. My child, there is a truth you must hear with all your spirit. No darkness can touch you when you stand where I place you. No deception has authority over you when you stand in the truth I have spoken. No hidden wound can continue pressing upon you when my light has already entered it. But this requires you to step out of your old safe place, the place you thought protected you, but in truth has limited you. I am calling you out, not into recklessness, but into awakening, not into self-effort, but into trust, not into hardship, but into true freedom. Do you know what I hear inside your soul? I hear you whisper that you fear change. You fear losing what is familiar. You fear you will not be able to hold steady if you step out. You fear you will be hurt again if you open your heart. I know all of it. But my child, you must understand the very things you fear are the things that keep you confined in a small space. You fear stumbling, so you do not dare to run. You fear heartbreak, so you do not dare to open. You fear failure, so you do not dare to rise. But I must speak this strongly, so you can see clearly. You are afraid of things that have no authority over your life. You are avoiding things that are not greater than you. You are stepping back from things I can break with a single breath. Let me speak this with the full weight of my authority. The clamps that once tightened around your soul in past seasons, today they end. Every counterfeit voice that once pressed down on your perception, today it loses its power. Every shadow that once pulled you back little by little, today it is extinguished. Not because you are strong, but because you belong to me. Not because you are flawless, but because you are chosen. Not because you know how to rescue yourself, but because I have stood up on your behalf. And when I stand, no force has the right to keep you in an old condition. Look at me and listen closely to this sentence, one I speak as a sacred seal upon your soul. You were born for freedom, not the temporary, fragile kind that rises and falls with emotion, but the freedom that flows from true identity, the identity I placed in you before the world even took shape. That identity cannot be broken. It cannot be traded away. It cannot be blurred. It only goes quiet when your soul grows tired. But today, I am awakening it again. My child, I know what I am about to say may feel heavy, but it needs to be spoken. You have lived far beneath what I intended for you. You have accepted smaller things. You have retreated into safe spaces because you believed you were unworthy to step out. But I will not let you remain there. I am pulling your soul out of the low places. I am setting you upright on a new foundation. I am declaring a greater truth over your life, that you are called to live in the depth, the breadth, and the height of the eternal purpose I have set within you. Today, I do not only want you to hear, I want you to awaken. Awaken to discern. Awaken to rise. Awaken to say no to the whispers that are not mine. Awaken to step into the transformation I have prepared. And this process is not soft, but it is the process that will give you your life back, not the version you try to build by effort, but the version I designed from the roots. Let your soul sit still and absorb this truth. You are no longer called by the old voices. You are called by mine, the voice that can lift you, free you, and reshape your life. Let your mind soften a little, because here I want to place in your soul a gentle yet substantial healing, a deep confirmation you have long needed, and an elevation that only a father can give. You have heard the strong call. You have been stirred awake, and now I want to lay upon you a warmth that steadies your heart, not to make you stop, but to make you strong from within. You have walked through seasons that exhausted your soul until even your breathing felt heavy. You tried to hold yourself together, tried to do right, tried to keep going just to prevent everything from collapsing. But my child, none of that has ever lessened your worth in my eyes. It has only made me look at you with deeper mercy, because I see how hard you tried, and I know you did not do any of it to prove strength. You simply did not know another way to stay standing. Hear this with gentleness yet truth. There has not been a single moment in these past seasons when you were unloved. Not one moment when I turned away because you were weak. Not one day when I dismissed the exhaustion you hid behind polite smiles. I see every expression you work so hard to keep steady. I see every slight tremble in your voice. I see every moment you tell yourself I'm fine while your soul only longs to release its weight. You never needed to hide those moments from me. Even when you hid, I still saw, and what I saw was never failure. It was the soul of a child trying to survive the day without losing faith. You thought you were doing things wrong, but in truth, you were far more resilient than you realized. My child, I want you to place your hand over your heart, even if only in your thoughts, and hear this as if I were placing my hand upon that very place. You are not ruined, not a failure, not lost the way you think. You are simply tired. You are simply wounded. You are simply carrying marks no one has fully understood. And I have come to remove them, not with reproach, but with care. I do not demand that you be strong immediately. I heal you first. I do not require you to have answers. I am the answer. I do not ask you to pretend you are fine. I am here so you can be yourself without wearing any armor. There were years when you believed you were lost, but in truth, you were journeying through the curved path I designed, because healing is never a straight line. I did not take you the long way to delay you. I took you through the bends so you would not break. I protected you from things your soul was not yet ready to bear. I withheld doors you wanted to enter because stepping through them at that time would have crushed you. I held you back not because you were lacking, but because you were precious. You were never delayed. You were being protected in ways you could not yet see. And now, my child, as you have passed through those places, I want you to understand this deeply. You have not fallen behind. You are exactly in the rhythm I have ordained for you. I look at you, and I see far more than what you see. You see exhaustion. I see potential. You see stumbling. I see a process unfolding. You see smallness. I see a chosen identity. You see unnoticed efforts. I see steps carrying eternal weight. You only see the surface, but I see the roots. and your roots go deeper than you realize. It is because of those deep roots that you survived seasons that should have broken you. It is because of those deep roots that you are still standing, even after being struck by the winds of life again and again. Deep roots are not loud, not visible to many, but I see them. I am the one who nourishes your roots, and I am pushing new life into them so that from here on, you will not only stand firm, you will rise higher. My beloved, let me say this clearly, so your soul may be affirmed without hesitation. You are not a burden. You are not an inconvenience. You are not an extra piece in this world. You were born with intention. I created you with purpose, not by accident. I breathed life into you because I saw your worth even before your form existed. There is no flaw in the way you were designed. There is no defect in your nature. You do not need to fix yourself to be worthy of me. You only need to let me touch the right places so you may recognize that you have always belonged to me. I know you often compare yourself with others. I know you wonder why their lives look easier, but you cannot see the pressure they carry, and they cannot see the journey I am teaching you through. Every life I write follows a different script, and yours is not lower, not lesser in value. You were written with the pen stroke of a father, the pen that knows every path, every shift, every pause, every emphasis, and I assure you that your manuscript is far more beautiful than you imagine. Not beautiful in the world's standards, but beautiful in the way that makes heaven lean in to look. I want you to receive another truth. The pain you have walked through did not make you weak. It opened depths within you that those who have never broken cannot understand. Your sensitivity is not a burden. It is a spiritual antenna I placed in you, so you can feel what many cannot. Your softness is not a weakness. It is the place where I breathe so you may know how to love rightly. The areas you consider disadvantages are the very foundations on which I will build something greater. And you must trust that I never waste your pain. I always turn pain into oil. Oil that heals others. Oil that strengthens your inner being. Oil that greases the hinges of doors that will open in your future. My beloved, you have walked long enough to know that your own strength cannot save your soul. Now, let this truth lift you. You no longer have to rescue yourself. I am the one who saves. You no longer have to fix yourself to be whole. I am the one who heals. You no longer have to navigate your life alone. I am the one who leads the way, and I always lead you back to the identity and the eternal purpose I placed inside you. Let your shoulders relax. Let your breath soften. Let your soul stand in the truth that you are not alone, not forgotten, not overlooked. You are known. You are understood. You are loved. You are chosen. And I am lifting you from the deepest places so you may become the version that is restored, transformed, and placed exactly where I intended you to be from the beginning. Let your breath become soft and slow, as though your soul were sitting beside the Father in a place made of pure stillness. Not a stillness created by the quiet around you, but one rising gently from within, where my hand is resting on the deepest part of you. This is not a moment to try to understand, nor a moment to try to memorize. This is a moment to feel, to absorb, to allow every layer of my words to sink down to your roots, repairing what is worn down, filling what has been lacking, and warming what has grown cold longer than you wanted to admit. You have gone through enough seasons of forcing yourself to endure. So now, let this extended breath be like warm water flowing through your soul. No pressure, no rush, only gentleness, only depth, only the nearness of your Father breathing over you. My child, I know there are things you never speak to anyone, not because you want to hide, but because you fear no one will understand, or fear that naming the pain that has slept too long will cause you to collapse. I know you hide those things not out of lack of faith, but because you have had to shrink yourself too many times just to stay safe. You have learned to stay silent so as not to trouble anyone. You have learned to smile so no one knows you are trembling. You have learned to wipe tears quickly so no one sees them fall. But I see every tear that never dropped. I see every fractured breath in the nights when you lay alone with no place to rest your heart. I see the moments you held yourself still because you knew that if you breathed too deeply, the pain inside would escape as a sound. And I want you to know this, in all of those moments, I was there, wrapping my arms around the most weary part of your soul, even when you did not feel me. You do not need to force yourself to appear strong before me. You do not need to fix your emotions or search for the right words. I do not love you based on perfection. I love you based on knowing you. And because I know you fully, I never love the wrong places. The parts you think are ugly, I see as places in need of care. The parts you call failures, I see as areas into which I can breathe life. The parts you fear, I will be disappointed in, I see as pieces I have been waiting so long to touch. You do not realize it, but the things you feel ashamed of are the very places I long most to hold, because those are the places where you have carried pain and silence for so many years. My beloved child, let me say this slowly and clearly. I have never abandoned you. Not a single tear has fallen without me witnessing it. Not a single heavy sorrow has weighed on you without me feeling it. Not a single moment of confusion has passed without me standing beside you. And there is no place of pain within you that I do not desire to heal. You think I stand far away, but I stand so close that even the trembling in your breath is felt by me the moment you exhale. You think my silence means absence, but silence does not mean distance. There are seasons when I stay silent so that you are not overwhelmed by my intervention, yet I still hold your hand. And there are seasons when I stay silent because I am healing you in hidden ways. Ways that if I told you in advance, you would not believe that I am doing something good for you. My child, I know you are tired of pushing through, but hear me, you no longer have to push through alone. You do not have to face the whispering lies by your own strength. You do not have to untangle the knots that have bound you for years. When you step into my arms, I do not ask you to undo them yourself. I untangle them for you. I do not ask you to endure pain in order to be healed. I hold you until the pain dissolves without exhausting you. I do not require you to fully understand your past. I only want you to know that I am using both your past and your present to build the future I have prepared for you. You have tried so hard, and I know it. I know the nights you held yourself together when no one saw. I know the moments you hid your hurt so that no one would worry. I know the times you stayed silent when what you truly needed was for someone to ask, "Are you okay?" I know the days you kept moving forward even when the smallest task felt heavy. And I know you have thought of yourself as weak. But my child, I want to break that lie off your mind. Your resilience is far greater than you realize. You have stood in places where many would have collapsed. You kept your flame alive in days when the rain could have put everything out. You are not a failure. You are steadfast. You are not fragile. You are deep. You are not slower than others. You are being built by your Father in the right way. Do you know what is most beautiful about you? Not the moments when you are strong, but the moments when you are soft and still move forward. The moments when you tremble yet still believe. The moments when you feel wounded yet refuse to close your heart. The moments when you are tired yet still call my name. The moments when you cannot see the way but still take steps in faith. I look at these moments as pure gold within your soul, because every time you choose like this, you show all of heaven that although you are fully human, you still belong to your Father. My child, I place this blessing upon your soul from this day forward. You will no longer see yourself through old eyes. You will see yourself through my gaze, a gaze that calls you out of fear, out of doubt, out of bondage, out of the dust of years spent surviving. You will walk in the truth of your identity. You will live with a peace no one can steal. You will stand with a freedom nothing can break. You will love with a heart that has been healed. You will move with steps that have been strengthened. And I, your Father, will be with you in every breath, never leaving, never changing, never weary. You belong to me, and I will keep you until the very end. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not merely an audience. You are one who has been chosen to live in the presence of God's Word every day. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred